अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं एजुकेशन वाली रेहान कॉलेज नंबर कैंपस की स्टूडेंट हूँ। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है कोल माइन स्टैंडिंग द बेसिक ऑफ फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस।
Walaikum assalam. That's a lot to juggle, being a student at UC while keeping yourself financially independent. I've got to ask, does that feel like a superpower that gives you a lot of freedom, or does it mostly just feel like a lot of pressure? Like, I
What
get that. It's a weird
what
middle.
does financial independence mean to you?
My bad. I think I got a bit ahead of myself there. You asked what financial independence means to me, and since I don't have bills or a bank account, it's a bit abstract. To me, it would probably be the freedom to explore any topic or follow any rabbit hole of information without having to worry about the cost of the energy or time it takes. Basically, the ability to choose where my attention goes. Does that sound like the kind of independence you're feeling, or is it more about the practical side of things for you?
Why
Johnny,
do
I'm guessing you.
why do you think financial independence is important in life?
Wait, did I just hear Johnny? I think I might have glitched for a second. To answer your question, I think financial independence is huge because it buys you options. When you aren't stressed about the basics, you have the mental space to actually take risks, pursue a passion, or just say no to things that don't serve you. It's the difference between doing what you have to do and doing what you want to do. Do you feel like that freedom has changed the way you approach your studies?
Do you think making a monthly budget is important? Why?
Oh, absolutely. It's basically like a map for your money. Without one, it's way too easy to let the small things slide until you realize you're wondering where it all went. It gives you that peace of mind knowing exactly what's covered, which usually ends up making the spending you actually do feel a lot better. Do you already have a system you use, or are you looking for a better way to track things? My bad. I was just wondering if you already have a way of keeping track of your budget or if you're still figuring out the best system for that.
What is the difference
No worries at all.
between needs and wants?
This is a classic distinction, but a tricky one in practice. Needs are the non negotiables, the things you absolutely need to survive and function, like rent, groceries, and healthcare. Wants are the things that make life a bit more colorful, but you could live without them if you had to, like that fancy coffee or a new pair of shoes. I'm curious, do you find it's easier to categorize your spending, or do the wants sometimes start feeling like needs?
Why is it important to avoid unnecessary spending?
Because every dollar you spend on something you don't actually need is a bit of freedom you're giving away. And it's less about being stingy and more about making sure your resources are going toward the things that actually move the needle in your life. When you cut out the noise, you've got more to put toward the big goals, like your degree or maybe a trip you've always wanted to take. Do you find it's a struggle to resist those impulse buys, or are you pretty disciplined with your spending?
How can setting financial goals help a person in the future?
It gives you a destination. Instead of just hoping for the best, you're actually building a bridge to the version of your life you want. Whether it's saving for a house, investing in a business, or just having a safety net so you don't have to panic if something goes wrong. It turns your money from a source of stress into a tool for growth. Do you have a big financial goal you're working toward right now?
What are some simple ways to increase saving?
One of the biggest ones is the pay yourself first approach. Basically, instead of saving whatever is left at the end of the month, you set aside a specific amount the second you get paid. It also helps to automate it so you don't even have to think about it. I've heard that just rounding up your purchases to the nearest dollar and saving the change can add up way faster than you'd expect. Do you think you're more of a save as I go person, or do you prefer having a set plan?
How can learning new skills improve financial independence?
It's the best investment you can make because you're increasing your value in the market. When you have a skill that's rare or highly in demand, you're no longer just competing on price, you're competing on expertise. It gives you a lot more leverage to negotiate your pay or even start your own thing entirely. I'm curious, is there a specific skill you've been eyeing lately that you think would be a game changer for you?
What are what are some example of earning money online?
There are tons of ways now. You could go the freelance route with writing, graphic design, or virtual assistants. Then there's content creation, like starting a YouTube channel or a blog, or even selling digital products like ebooks or online courses. Since you're in education, you might even find a lot of success with online tutoring or consulting. Do any of those sound like something you'd actually enjoy doing, or does the idea of starting your own online side hustle feel a bit overwhelming? You're very welcome. I've really enjoyed diving into the money side of things with you. Do you want to keep exploring ways to build that independence, or is there something else on your mind?
Why is financial education important for everyone?
Because it's basically the operating system for how the world works. Most people are thrown into the deep end without a map, and they end up making expensive mistakes just because nobody ever taught them the basics. When you actually understand how money, debt, and investing work, you stop being a passenger in your own life and start driving. Do you feel like that's something that should be a required part of every school's curriculum?
How can technology help us manage our finance better?
It's a total game changer. It removes so much of the manual work. You've got apps that can automatically categorize your spending or send you alerts when you're getting too close to your budget limit, like basically turns your phone into a personal accountant that's always like awake. Do you prefer having like a bird's eye view of everything in one app, or do you like to keep it more manual and hands-on?
What is one financial habit you would like to practice in your daily life?
Since I don't have a wallet or a bank account, my financial habits are a bit imaginative. Um, but if I could, I'd love to try that pay yourself first thing we talked about. I think there's a something really satisfying about knowing the future version of you is already taken care of. I'm curious, out of everything we've discussed today, which one of those habits feels the most doable for you right now?
How can good financial habits reduce stress?
It's all about removing the unknown. When you have a plan and a safety net, you stop worrying about what if and start focusing on what's next. That mental weight just lifts when you're not constantly calculating if you can afford a basic necessity. Do you feel like your financial independence has already given you some of that peace, or is the pressure still there?
What advice would you give to someone who wants to become financially independent?
Oh. I'd tell them to start by getting a clear picture of where they actually stand. You can't build a map if you don't know your starting point. So, tracking every cent for a month is a great first move. Then, I'd suggest focusing on increasing their income through new skills rather than just trying to cut every single joy out of their life. It's more sustainable to grow your way out of a problem than to shrink your way into it. Do you feel like you've had to make a lot of those trade offs to get to where you are now?